Hello, and welcome everybody to this webinar from iCore of modernising the IT service desk. Hope you enjoy it. Firstly, what we're going to talk about is just some very high-level webinar formats and etiquette, and then I'll give a quick introduction of actually who I am as part of iCore. This we're hoping is going to be, well, it will be a 45-minute session. There's a lot of content to cover, so it will be quite fast-paced, but I'm sure that you will be able to glean quite a bit from it, so it'll be definitely worth your time on that. As mentioned before, we are talking about modernising the service desk. So actually, it will be going from a full journey almost from having a look at a current service desk and the challenges that we have, again, quite high level, and then why we want to modernize. And then we'll go into modernization techniques and different elements that we keep on here banding about, such as artificial intelligence or chatbots and all these kind of things, but and then try to bring them into some sort of reality for us. So my name's Dylan Swart. My background within service desks. I've been a service desk manager for multiple organizations. I've created, implemented, centralized global service desks, totally regenerated service desks, and also I've been involved with looking at a lot of the modern approaches, trying to maximize our service desk agents' time, but also to speed up stuff like well, to increase customer satisfaction, to speed up time to resolution, and all those great metrics that we like to look at. So with that, I'll be bringing in my real world sort of experience within this. A quick introduction to iCore. So iCore now is we've got over 25 years of experience in helping organizations embed modern, effective approaches to IT service management. We did start off sort of holistically as an IT service management organization, but as everything evolves, we've evolved as well. And so we now look at service delivery, service integration, and in holistically IT management, good and best practices. We only have experienced consultants on our team, so the consultants have got the war wounds and been there and have done it. So we are able to offer extensive experience in developing the modern approaches, but also the traditional approaches and any sort of bimodal models that you're looking for that fits your organization. Our main sort of subject matter expertise is within IT management, as mentioned, IT project management and IT transformation. And just on the slide there, you've got some examples of the frameworks that we spend a lot of time working within. But enough of introducing iCore. Let's discuss what you've come here for. So what will we cover on this let's say fast-paced webinar? An introduction, why we're here, what we're trying to achieve from this. I'll reintroduce, because you're obviously all aware of the IT service desk landscape, but pull it out to a more sort of a visual sort of view. And then we'll have a look at the sort of modernization approaches. So that's artificial intelligence, AI, and automation. We'll talk about shift left, again, very high level on all these concepts, but a good introduction to shift left. And I'm sure everyone's heard of these terms, shift left, shift left, but actually what do they mean, and how can they realistically support organizations, and how can you do it? And then approaches to modernizing a service desk. And that's generally the sort of biggest hurdle I find for a lot of organizations, is putting that sort of flag in the ground and say, right, we're starting here, and this is where we're moving from. And then just to conclude everything at the end. And without further ado, let's make a start. So again, welcome everybody, and thank you for joining us today on this webinar. The focus of today's presentation is really to explore the opportunities to enhance your IT service desk operations by leveraging the power of of these key buzzwords that we hear as of artificial intelligence, automation, and shift left strategies. But I suppose the real question that we need to ask first is, why modernize? So, as the pace of modern business accelerates, the IT landscape is becoming ever so more complex. In this environment, IT desks play a even more critical role in ensuring that organizations can continue to deliver the high quality services to their end users and thus grow their market share, or deliver on the promise that they've made to their users. With the rapid growth of technology and the ever-ending needs of users, it's essential that IT service desks can adapt and evolve in order to stay relevant and effective. So if you can just see from here, all the way from the 1900s, business models have changed. And for any of those people that are, any of us here that have got any interest in that, that goes all the way from Taylorism to Fordism. And as the different sort of management models change, we're currently really focused on this customer customer centralized business models area. It's always, everything is all about being customer centric and delivering what the customer wants, which of course is key. But are we actually set up for that still, or are we still actually looking at the good old e-commerce and business models? And also the other point is, are we ready for what is coming next? Well, that's a hard question to say, isn't it? Because what is coming next, none of us actually know. But if we can build our service desks to be agile, well, robust enough to deliver the results that we want, but agile enough in order to change to different market variants, we'll be in a much better place than just having a static desk. So really, modern businesses, what are they? What are the key elements that we're looking at? We've got rapid pace of modern businesses. So in today's fast-paced world, businesses need to be agile and responsive to stay competitive, as mentioned. This requires a service desk to be more proactive and flexible than ever before, anticipating and addressing issues before they escalate and impact the business. So we really need to have that sort of that agility part there. The IT environments are now getting even more complex, aren't they? With the advent of cloud, sort of computing, Internet of Things, microservices, and it's all just getting lumped within IT. So service desk being that first port of call, the window, if it was shop window in effect of IT, we need to be able to put IT in the best light and also deliver on the promise that we've made to our customers. So again, we really need to look at having the right tools in place, be equipped with the right skills, the right knowledge, and the right processes in order to do this. And then, of course, as you said, it's a customer-centric sort of world out there. So modern end users really have come to expect instant, personalized, and seamless support experiences. Let's be honest, that's what we want now. It's all that whole element of instant gratification. If we want something done, we want it done now. And that's just us as customers to the businesses that we work with. Our users are exactly the same. So we need to be able to offer that sort of seamless support experience in order to meet their expectations. So we need to shift from focusing merely on resolving incidents to delivering exceptional user experiences. So, and as we begin our exploration here of modernizing the IT service desk, it's essential to understand where we are, and that is understanding the current landscape, the challenges that a traditional IT service desks face. And understanding this will then give us a good foundation for actually having a look at the likes of artificial intelligence and all these elements that we can put in place to solve these problems or these challenges. There has to be a reason why we are modernizing, and we have to really come to grips with that and understand that within ourselves and be honest. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to talk about the 3 pillars of, should we say, challenges of the traditional service desk. Some of these might apply to you, they might not, but when you look at them, think about it and go, actually, is that us? Is that us this is happening to? And let's move away the rose glasses and be honest, and also go from your customer's point of view on this. So first one, reactive and siloed approach. Now, if you think about it, traditional IT service desks often operate in a very reactive manner, responding to incidents and requests as they arise, right? This approach can lead to inefficiencies, though, the lack of proactive problem management. How many of your service desks actually do problem management, for example? Generally got problem team or something like that can go to. But we'll talk more about that later. Additionally, these service desks tend to be siloed, with different teams handling different aspects of support, which can result in very disjointed service experiences for the end users. And the frameworks like ITIL, for example, are partly to blame for this, or actually very much to blame from this. If you go back to the version 2 sort of element, it did talk about having either a localized, centralized, or I can't remember the third one, localized, centralized, or global service desk. And the issues that, 24/7 services, sorry. The issue with these is that there were certain models that were very sort of stuck in place, and there was no real sort of agility with them. Within these service desks, then you had specialist service desks where you would route specialist calls to. And all we're doing here is we're building up silos of information. And that's traditionally how our service desks are built. But if you look at now into the new guidance of like ITIL 4 or something, it's not like that at all. It's almost the opposite. It's all about value streams of providing information through and the user journey, the customer journey, from something breaking to it getting fixed. It's not about siloing, it's about sharing. We've got limited scalability and high costs. So we all know this, don't we? A service desk, you might have, I don't know, 20, 100, 200 agents, however many agents you've got, but they're a static amount of agents. And they're agreed on whatever the budget was agreed at the beginning of the year or the end of last year, based on, well, hopefully based on what services are going to be used that year and to what customer base. I mean, if that happens, that's brilliant. But that limits us. So as the volume and complexity of support requests increase, traditional IT service desks will struggle, as we know, to scale effectively. What does this actually mean? This leads to longer wait times for users, increased costs for the organization, and overall reduced efficiency. So we think we've done well by planning this, but we planned things so well, we've got little buckets now, little siloed areas where we have got that limited scalability and high cost. If we do scale, it's a case of how come IT want more? Even though the reason we're scaling is because the business wants more, but we need to look at that, and it is critical. And then another element which is key in a traditional service desk is inefficient processes and low customer satisfaction. And this can be from a load of different aspects, but at a generalistic point, many traditional IT service desks still rely on manual processes and sometimes outdated tools, which can lead to resolution times. I mean, I've seen service desks that are logging all their tickets within an Excel spreadsheet, and they've got all these weird and wonderful sort of formulas that help identify the priority and all this great stuff, but it's not the best tool for the job. Errors, miscommunications, all these sort of elements. And these efficiencies can result, again, in lower customer satisfaction because we might be missing customers, but they will ultimately impact the overall perception of the IT department within the organization. So that's kind of where we currently are. But now, where do we need to go? We've got some opportunities for modernization. First of all, align the business with goals and experience, which is key, as we all know. We need to align with the business, but what we need to do is not just align with the business at a single point of time, but continually align with the business to ensure that we have we're delivering the service that they require. Enhance the end user experience. And we talked about that sort of hinted about it earlier, kind of what their expectations are. So that instant gratification. They want something now. They used to this whole login on Amazon, you click something, you'll have something delivered, perhaps even the same day. Or you want a book, well, I'm not going to wait for that. I'm going to download it on my Kindle now. I want support. I phoned you up. Why can't you fix it now? All of these elements that we need to think about how we can actually enhance that and actually give them that instant gratification sort of element. Ideally, in an ideal world, the argument would be that we can resolve issues before they become incidents, and then the customer won't even realize. I think we all know that is utopia, but until we can work out how to do that, we're always going to need to have this sort of effective support. And then a big one, especially now, is how can we streamline our operations and ultimately also reduce costs? So align better with the business, improve end user experience, make things more efficient and cheaper. Some of you might be thinking, yeah, right, and pigs might fly. No, this can be done. This can be done. I'm not saying it's an easy approach. It's not, oh, we're going to start using a tool, I don't know, ServiceNow, and all this will happen. Not so. There are loads of different elements that we need to think about, and we need to tweak and tune within a service desk environment for this to happen. And now we're going to move on to AI and automation. So really in this sort of section, we're going to explore how artificial intelligence and automation can help modernize IT service desks. So when we're talking about these, think about those challenges that we've mentioned, those issues. So the opportunities that we've got, and also the traditional IT sort of challenges. And then we'll see how just these, and this is only a very high level spectrum or very high level view of these tools. And this is only just a few tools out of a plethora of different tools that can be used in order to enhance service desk and modernize your service desk. But let's talk about AI and automation. I know everybody's talking about it now. Chat GTP or ChatP, whatever. I can't remember. I always get confused with Chat GPT, I think it is in the news daily about how this is going to change the world. Well, let's first of all have a look at how it could support our service desks. So first thing we've got is chatbots. I don't know if you're aware about chatbots, but chatbots are primarily sort of text-based conversational agents that focus on providing instant responses to your user inquiries. That almost getting to that instant gratification part here. They're designed to understand and process text input from users and then generate a relevant response based on and this is the key bit, the pre-programmed knowledge base or set of predefined rules. So chatbots would be great, wouldn't they? Especially for simple tasks. I want to change my password. I'd like to know how long my license is valid for. And request management, I'd like access to this, I don't know, the share or all these sort of elements. Requesting IT software and hardware, perfect little things for this. We also, though, have virtual assistants. So virtual assistants, and you might think they're the same as chatbots, but there is a subtle difference on how we use this. So a virtual assistant are a more sophisticated conversational agent that offers a broader range of functionality. They're typically capable of understanding and processing both text and voice, and can engage with users on multiple channels. So it's not just something in a chatbot, but you might be able to pull this information from a web chat. A lot of virtual assistants are pulling this information from stuff like Facebook pages. There are loads of different ways of getting this information in there. And where virtual assistants go a little bit further is that they can do an element of trend analysis. They can do an element of leveraging the context, user preferences, and prior interactions to deliver something a bit more personalized. Where a chatbot is just, this is black and white. The virtual assistant can have a look and go, actually, this user's not very happy with us anyway. They've tried X, Y, Z, that hasn't worked, and they can actually deal something more personalized. Again, bringing that sort of instant gratification and personalization to us, which is a great thing there. But in the context of IT service desk with virtual assistants, they cannot handle, they can not only handle sort of basic report requests, but also they can handle other elements that are a lot more sophisticated, like setting up meeting requests, managing calendars, or even to guide users through like a multi-step troubleshooting process. So these are two of the tools that we can use within our arsenal to modernize. Here's a quick example of the two. So with the chatbot there, improved first contact resolution rate. So a major telecoms company that has implemented a chatbot to handle customer inquiries. The chatbot was able to resolve 65% of the inquiries on first contact, significantly reducing the workload on the human support agents. And obviously this helps the agents go and work on other elements. Got and then reduced time to resolution. And this was for the virtual. A global bank that has been deployed, that has deployed a virtual assistant to help employees with IT related issues. The virtual assistant was able to resolve as many common issues in just a few minutes, greatly reducing the resolution time and improving employee productivity. Again, these are great tools, but they're not out the box. They need to be set up. These are only as good as the information we input into them, the rules that we input into them, the links to other data sets that we put within them. So that they work very well, but there is that setup management that is needed with them. Especially with virtual learning. Oh, sorry. The virtual assistants. They rely on another element that I'm sure you've all heard about, called predictive analysis and machine learning. Right. So what actually is this? Let's start off with this. So predictive analysis. Well, they're both really data-driven technologies that revolutionize IT service desk operations by enhancing decision-making and automation. So that's the whole sort of idea. Get as much information, do trend analysis, do whatever's needed there, and then deliver a result. Predictive analysis employs more sort of statistical techniques to forecast future outcomes, trends, behaviors, but that's all kind of based on historical data. In a service desk sort of context, this helps anticipate issues like system failures, network outages, or even tailor sort of your resource allocation. So this is based on that sort of historical sort of trend analysis. And it's nothing new here. We've been doing trend analysis for ages, but this is now automating it. That's the key thing, automating it. I've often thought when you have a look into a tool set like ServiceNow or even Manage Engine, whichever tool you're using, and you're inputting all these incidents, thinking, why isn't it analyzing these incidents and telling us what the problem is? Why do we have to do the problem part? Surely, if the tool's got all this information in it, right, it should just be able to spit out the answer. Great concept. And that was always just a dream before, but now with predictive analysis, that dream has become reality. Right. And then we have machine learning. So machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence, really. And it uses algorithms to learn and improve over time through exposure of data. Oh, excuse me. For IT service desks, machine learning automates tasks such as categorization, prioritization of support tickets, where it's learning from elements that not only from what you've inputted the first time of what something should be prioritized on, but let's say something has been prioritized incorrectly or categorized incorrectly, the tool will then learn from that and recategorize from things. I'm so sorry. Oh dear. Yeah, from categorize from lessons learned. So we have machine learning. Examples here. Proactive issue detection and prevention. So an e-commerce company used machine learning to analyze and log files and identify potential issues before they impacted customers. So by doing this, or by proactively addressing these issues, the company was able to prevent downtime and maintain a high level of service quality. Fantastic. You've got the data there. Enhanced decision making and resource allocation. A healthcare provider utilized predictive analysis to forecast the volume of support requests, allowing them to allocate resources more efficiently and ensure that the support agents were available when needed. So for everyone here that has done sort of resource demand and demand analysis, it can be really pie in the sky a lot of times, and that's what it feels like. But based on the trend and the data that we've had over the I don't know, over various periods, and it does take various periods for this to work. That periods might be months, years, or whatever you're managing against. It can start building models, and it can map it can map results to these models. So again, another great tool. We can have a look at automation for increased efficiency. And so this is automated ticket routing and or automated ticket categorization. They are subtly different. Automated ticket routing really is a process for automatically assigning incoming tickets to the appropriate team or agent based on a predefined criteria. That could be type of issue, department, or maybe the agent's expertise. On the other hand, automated ticket categorization is a process of automatically assigning relevant categories or tags to incoming tickets based on the content or the context of the request. And this could include categorizing tickets by type, priority, affected system, whichever the sort of categories that you really need. Well, both automated ticket routing and categorization contribute to streamlining. They do serve a distinct purpose. You might want to use one, not the other, or you might want to blend them both together. Oh dear. This is totally up to you and the strategy you choose. However, these are, again, two more tools that we have, and they're great tools. And you'll be surprised how many of the tool sets you're using has the capability to do this stuff. We just haven't switched it on. or not configured it. I do apologize for my coughing, everybody. I don't know why it's happened, but I'm just going to mute myself quickly. Hopefully that's cleared it. Right. So automated ticket routing, an example for this, a faster response times and reduced manual effort. So a large financial institution has implemented an automated ticket routing and categorization. What's this done though? Well, this has helped them decrease the response time from 40%, well, by 40%, and reduce the manual effort required to the process tickets by 60%. Just think about those percentages. Just think about what those percentages would be like in your organization if you were able to reduce response times, let's say by 40%. Fantastic times, fantastic results from modernizing your service desk. We've got automated knowledge management. So automated knowledge management, and I think a lot of us use bits of this already. If you use stuff like keyword matching, well, this is looking at automated knowledge management. So if you're typing in an instant ticket, for example, and then you put some keywords, I don't know, there's downtime with the Exchange server or whatever the terms are. If you've got automated knowledge management, then it would pick up all the similar types of tickets that are there already, and then you'll be able to use that. Better still, you'd use automated knowledge management within the self-service capabilities. So by adopting a self-service capability on that, have a wealth of knowledge in the background, and as the customer is typing in their issue, resolutions are coming up. Obviously, they have to be the right resolution, as in they have to be to the right level. You don't want to give a resolution about rebooting a server, for example, and it's the end user there. That wouldn't work. So, an example, just a quick example of automated management here. A large financial institution implemented and automated ticket routing and categorization. Oh no, sorry, I got that wrong there. That's from the other page. So I gave you an example of automated resolution there. I can't remember the exact percentages off the top of my head, but I know, funnily enough, a financial organization did put in using the shift left technology, which we're going to talk about next, put in a user service portal, and that decreased the tickets actually going to the service desk by 60%. So quite a significant sort of decrease. The customer's happy because they're finding out their issues straight away, and they're being able to resolve them by themselves by giving them the tools in order to do so. Obviously, it all depends on what type of issues people are having, but I'm sure your service desk will agree that a lot of the issues are this small fry noise. You've got, okay, you get a handful of P2s, P1s, and the rest of them, but a lot of it are these requests, standard changes, or all these other elements that people want. And that now moves me very nicely onto shift left. Another term that has been bandied about a lot. But what we're going to discuss here is what shift left is, and really sort of how it can modernize IT service desks, and how it can empower. And that's the key thing, to really empower frontline support teams. And of course, the great thing about this shift left, self-help, all those great things, is it, if done correctly, it will reduce resolution time and cost. If done incorrectly, it will be seen as IT just passing the workload onto their customers, obviously, which we this is the last thing that we want. So first of all, let's talk about shift left. What is shift left? Well, shift left is simply, and if we look at the diagram here, we've got 4 different lines. The customer who makes the request, and then we've got the first, second, and third lines. Just a typical IT organization. So what normally happens is the customer contacts the first line. The first line tries to resolve it. If they can, great. If they can't, it goes to the second line. They try to resolve it. If they can, great. If they can't, it goes to the third line. If it goes all the way through the lines, this takes a lot more time. But also, the amount of people that are engaged on that one incident or that one request or that one, should we say, case are quite a few sort of different people on there using quite a few different tools, and the costs are high. So what shift left does is tries to get the knowledge and pass it down. So third line will give the ability to solve problems to the second line. Second line will move the ability to solve the problems at their level to the service desk. And even if it stops there, that is good. But then if we really want to go what they call shift left, that's passing it further down. So that's moved the ability to solve problems to online service channels. How cool is that? So that is a user can go into this online channel, may it be a support, a virtual support desk or whatever, and they'll be able to pull this information down through self-help and help themselves 24/7. It's always there. Brilliant. And that's what we're saying there. So optimize the self-help of users. So as we can see with those gray boxes there, that if we have to engage, let's say, third line over just the customer having to be able to work with this themselves, it is going to take a lot longer and the costs are going to be a lot higher. So adopting shift left will result in, well, it will eliminate waste calls, because hopefully they will be captured. I say hopefully they'll be captured right at the crux, and you won't have to pass something on that can be done to a more expensive tier, should we say. Faster time to resolution, that makes absolute sense then. Should be able to handle more calls. Like anything, if the users are resolving elements themselves, this frees up the service desk in order to handle more calls. So we're not saying that they can handle more individual calls, but handle more engagements, because a lot of their engagements are actually being facilitated by the self-help. Reduced time and cost, and also greater uptime, because people can actually take accountability of their own issues. And when we talk about take accountability, that's more about how you embed this. It's not a case of just a tool. It's almost a cultural change. It's that the service desk are there to help you. Support is definitely there to help you. But it's like your own IT security. You've got to take accountability of some of this for it to work. An example here of self-service portals and knowledge bases, and I'm sure a lot of your organizations already have them in place. However, the question I would like to ask you is, how effective are they? They might be the best service portals. They might be the best knowledge bases, but no one's really using them. That's the bit you need to really get into. Why aren't they using them? And a lot of the time it's down to culture, or it wasn't embedded in a holistic way. But let's have a look at these examples. So one way to implement shift left is by developing shift left. Oh, sorry, not examples. It's about implementing it. So one way to implement shift left is by developing self-service portals and knowledge bases that enable end users to find answers to their questions and resolve issues on their own. which is a great thing there. A global manufacturing company implemented a comprehensive service self-service portal, which resulted in 30% reduction support tickets and a 50% decrease in average resolution times, which is brilliant. However, you're only going to get numbers like that if people are actually using these tools. And there are approaches that will help you to cement that in. And another approach to shift left is to implement a tiered support model in which frontline support teams are equipped to handle a broader range of issues. So how good would it be if the service desk could handle issues that would normally be sent to the second line? And you might be thinking, hang on a minute, we're just taking second line's work here. Well, you are, but you're fulfilling tickets quicker. You're restoring services quicker. You're getting better customer satisfaction. And also, you're saving the organization money because those second line resources can now work on those projects that we've been waiting for ages, instead of hiring more and more people to do it. One of the things with especially with shift left is how do we know we're doing it right? So measuring the impact, getting the right key performance indicators are absolutely critical here. So and I'm sure you all recognize these: first contact resolution rate, escalation rate, average resolution rate, customer satisfaction. If you're not improving these, and you're evaluating your shift left sort of and these aren't improving, you know something is not quite right. It's time to go, oh well, we managed to get 3 of them, not the 4th. Why aren't we getting the 4th? Review those, make sure any lessons learned are implemented, and then keep on reviewing. And that's what we're looking at there with continual opportunities. Review, redefine, enhance. You can always make improvements. You can always make improvements. And we should always be making improvements. Remember, continual improvement isn't just about improving things as well. It's also about realigning with the business. And that was one of the key challenges that we had earlier on. Realigning with the business. Well, through continual improvement, having the right metrics, we can do. And having something like shift left in place, just by the way that it's built, make sure that we measure from the first place. So benefits of shift left, I think they're quite self-explanatory, really. Significantly improve support processes, reduce costs, and of course enhance end user experience. And there are 3 areas that we talked about at the beginning of this webinar, which were the challenges that we're facing. So shift left is it's a great concept to look at if you haven't done it already. But remember, what seems easy, it's all about embedding it that's important. So we've talked about shift left, and we've talked about sort of different technologies that we can use, AI, chatbots, and that kind of thing. But now let's have a quick look at approaches. So you might be watching this and going, you know what? I want to try some of those. I'm going to give that a go. Well, I'm not just going to say, well, phone us. Well, of course, phone us. But how would you go about doing it? Give it a go. Why not? First thing is to identify gaps for areas of improvement. So embarking on the journey to modernize your IT service desk really is essential to assess your current maturity level. Understand where you are. You can only move forward if you understand where you are. You might do this based on something like CMMI, or there's another really good certification. I don't know if you've heard of it, called the Service Desk Institute certification model, which actually gets you certified. So your service desk becomes a starred certified desk. But what that also does is doesn't say, it tells you where you are, but if you then need you want to improve, it tells you how to improve the areas you need to improve in. So it's always a good base starting, where are we now? Once you've done your assessment, you know where you are. So you've got everything you need for a roadmap, really, haven't you? You've got where you are now, where you want to be, and all the roadmap does there is shows you how you are going to get there. So once you've identified the gaps and opportunities for improvement, it's time to create that roadmap. This involves prioritizing initiatives based on their potential to deliver business value, taking into account factors such as the cost, risk, return on investment, customer satisfaction, all those sort of factors there. The key thing I think with these roadmaps is it's important, really important, to engage with your stakeholders across the organization to ensure really that the broader business objectives are being understood and buy-in is apparent for your modernization efforts. Additionally, set realistic expectations and establish clear milestones within your roadmap. They'll help the modernization project stay on track. And also fantastic for communication, because people always want to know how well you're doing on things. A key element is forgotten quite a lot of the time, and that's change management and organizational readiness. Especially when you're looking at modernizing, don't just focus on the service desk. It's all about it's holistically, it's about the users, it's about all the stakeholders having champions, all this great stuff. So it is that shift in mindset, not just for the service desk. For the service desk, obviously you've got stuff like technical, analytical, customer service skills, technology, support processes. Also for the users, that whole element that they're empowered to resolve things themselves, that they've got the ability, that it's far quicker that they log into a portal and do something than what it would be to submit a ticket. Really is sort of that's kind of approach. And also preparing for this change as well. Make sure that it's not just thrown over the fence, as they say, right, we've got it in place now. Why isn't it providing what we want? But there is approach to change management there. There is a roadmap, there is a plan, there is clear communication, training support throughout, just as an example there, that people are aware, stakeholders are engaged. A little tip that I find here, involve as many people as you can. If you involve somebody in something like this, they'll feel part of it and they'll champion it for you. If you don't involve them and you push it upon them, they'll alienate it and they'll work against you. That's just sort of key areas that we need to have a look at when we're preparing for change. And really, that is kind of all the elements that we're going to talk about on this webinar so far. I'm just going to give a quick sort of wrap up, really, and next steps that we can think about, and then all's good. So to conclude, as I've written up there, the rapid pace of modernization, especially modern business, increased IT complexity, and the growing end user expectations, demand really is a key word there. The IT service desks adapt and modernize their operations. If you don't, you're not going to support what the business wants. It's just as simple as that. AI and automation now, and this is increases monthly, weekly, even daily, is providing more opportunities to enhance IT service desks, more opportunities to enhance absolutely everything. And there's two ways of looking at this. There's one way of going Skynet. It's going to bring us all down. Terminator is coming, and being worried against it. And there's the other way of embracing it, managing it, owning it, and letting it support you. So It's two literally opposing ways of looking at it. I would go for the latter, the positive way. Let it help your service desk be exceptional. You've got the service desk strategy that empowers the frontline support, as we mentioned there, using user portals and all that great stuff. Just helps organizations empower their employees in order to fix their own stuff, and also saves resources. And of course, with everything that you do, we've got to have a look at a structured approach to modernization. It's not a case of just throw these things in. Every time I've seen an organization just throw modernization techniques into a service desk, they have not yielded the results because they've just thrown it in and they've expected it to do it. No, we need to put it in properly. And if you do put it in properly with the right approach, you will get exceptional results from it, as long as the approach is right. So key takeaways, the next steps we've got here. So the key thing, I suppose, well, the first thing, align your IT service desk modernization efforts with your organization's broader goals and objectives. Don't just go off on a tangent. This is that whole element of really aligning with the business, try to understand where the business is going, really be part of that, journey, try to automate, support them. Prioritize initiatives that will deliver the greatest business value. Again, align with the business. To be honest, if we were just to build our own sort of stuff in our own little world, you could spend millions on this, but is it actually providing the business value? That's the question that we always have to go back to. Ensure that your teams, so the other thing's all about business value, but now your teams itself, ensure that your team has the right mix of skills and capabilities to support modern service technologies and processes. It kind of changes it slightly. So your team makeup is not just analysts answering calls. It's analysts doing trend analysis using modern service tools, but writing scripts for these tools, doing a lot more sort of data analysis on these tools to make sure that we're getting the most out of them. It does change the sort of the role so much within the service desk a little bit. And be proactive in managing change and preparing your organization for the transition to modernize IT service desk. That's the whole thing there, isn't it? Preparing your organization for the transition. Don't just throw it in. That's the last thing you need to do. So obviously there has to be a little bit of what can iCore do for you here? So achieving your service desk goals with iCore. We've got a range of products or services that we can offer that are tried and tested, going into organizations where we've done a lot of the lifting and the shifting already, and we just need to align and embed and roll out into your organization. The key parts: align, make sure it fits your organization, and then embed it within. So some of these are, we can offer a service desk assessment, so we can do that first line in the sand to make sure that you know where you want to be. This can be also creating a roadmap for you, so then you've just got to deliver on that yourselves if you want, or we can help you with that. Mentioned service desk certification. So with SD, we can help you prepare to get your SDI certification, and whilst doing that, a lot of that looks at modern techniques and modern ways of working. We can go through the whole journey with you. Service desk modernization transformation, going from a normal standard service desk or call center or whatever you have there to what you want to be. And a lot of that is done by hand holding. So it's not a case of we come in and we just do it all, because we'll just leave and you'll be none the wiser. No, we'll come in, handhold, work with your teams, make sure that the skills and the knowledge is being passed on. So if you do need to change it, you're totally self-sufficient to do it yourselves. And of course, different sorts of sourcing. Sometimes it's just easier to pass it to someone else. If only it was that easy. We can, if we have a problem and we outsource a problem, all we're doing is outsourcing that problem. that problem won't get resolved. So what we need to do is we need to understand what that problem is. We need to build the processes around that, make sure that it's deliverable, it works, and then we can move it on. And then we'll get the answers we want. And that really is this sort of session all wrapped up. I hope you have enjoyed it. It's been very fast, as I say. I hope it's been informative and at least has given you a bit of thirst about what's out there and what you potentially could do to your within your organization. So I didn't update this. I'm sorry. It says please use the chat, but we haven't got time and we didn't have time on this to use the chat. So purposely, if you have any questions or you'd want to know how we can support you, or you just want to know a little bit more information about any of these elements, please log them, write them down, and we got two guys, fantastic guys that are able to support you, Paul and Jim, who will contact you to answer your questions and also get feedback on what you thought of this presentation. And with that, our contact details are here, info at iCore Please, if you want to get a question in before waiting to be contacted, just email us and we'll be more than happy to get in touch. I know if the guys can't answer anything, that they'll pass it straight to me, and you'll get my focus and attention on it. So with that, I would like to thank you all very much for attending. I know your time is extremely precious, and I'm honored to have had the opportunity to introduce these concepts to you. Thank you very much.